Take a look at that. Those are embers blowing across the 210 freeway, like water, just cruising across the 210 freeway right there. And this is all happening in the Sylmar area, right at the Yarnell. You can just see like some of the cars. We actually saw a couple cars turn around moments ago, and one or two actually make its way through that. Just driving through it. There you go. Was like a fire truck right there, or a first responder. This is
breaking news. It's starting to look like hell on earth once again in California. Ladies and gentlemen, Sodom and Gomorrah is burning. It's starting to look like rivers of fire and hot ash blowing through the desert. 100,000 people were forced to evacuate near Beverly Hills as this flash fire broke out. You can see the smoke. You can see the hot ash. What mesmerizing footage, to say the least. Of course, there's a major power outage right now happening out there in Sinan Valley. Many residents are fed up with what's going on out there, and so they're moving out. And that's the idea of Agenda 21, to move people out of the country and into the cities, into the death traps, ladies and gentlemen, where you can be surrounded by the death towers, where you can be force-fed the fluoride and the pesticides and all of the other things that they're spraying in the air. You're being sprayed like bugs in these big cities, irradiated, vaccinated, indoctrinated, programmed, conditioned. Ladies and gentlemen, you're literally being raped and pillaged and, zombified, to say the least. And when you see scenes like this as you're driving, on the highway, what must be racing through your mind? You're in hell. Basically, you're trying to escape the Inferno. Look at this. This is where people live. And look at all this smoke that you got to breathe in. You're getting gassed. Of course, they start these fires on purpose, to gas the surrounding area. Of course, this happened in between Thousand Oaks and Santa Clarita in this little hill, Beverly Hills area. And, you can see, just how terrible the situation is. And what is it with this area? The Santa Clarita diet, the cannibalism, Thousand Oaks, the scene of a recent shooting, sort of recent. But we're learning about other things going on at Thousand Oaks. Seems like there's been some shady deals happening out there. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. We're going to get into the news and the like. Something else worth mentioning as far as these fires are concerned. Now, of course, homes that are made of wood just go up in flames with these, hot ashes blowing in the wind, ladies and gentlemen. You're not even protected from anything with these wooden homes. Not wind, not fire, certainly not bullets or radiation. And that's the point. You have this false sense of security in your home, but at any minute, the deep state or a natural disaster can come crashing through. Any case, we wanted to talk a little bit about what they're spraying out there to fight these fires nonstop. They got this firefighting foam, which about, hopefully, with the PFAS and the other chemicals that are in there. And this stuff just poisons everything that it touches. And of course, they're putting out the fires, ladies and gentlemen, but they're basically trashing the planet as we speak. We did a report on the PFAS probably about a year or so ago, and I suppose it was one of the last things that we were able to hit with the big pages before they got taken down. And this stuff has caused incredible pollution, if you will, in the environment, and it's in everybody's blood supply. It causes cancer. It's another reason to wonder what is really going on out there. Surely there must be things that they could use other than the firefighting foam as it is. Look at this stuff. Doesn't it look fluffy? Doesn't it look nice? But this stuff is hardcore carcinogenic, poisonous, taking people out, just like everything else out there. And if you didn't know better, you'd say that, they were trying to get you in this third world country that we've become. Well, it might not look like it when you're in the downtown of the big city, or maybe it does with all of the homeless people and the junkies and the like. We're going to be getting into all of that. But we wanted to mention once again, wanted to make a mention of the eugenics programs out there. Once again, sheeple, it's incredible that people are talking about anything other than the eugenics programs in America right now. I mean, everybody's really, into the politics, the Russians, the Ukrainians, the whistleblowers and the like, the impeachment now, right? So, people are talking about that. That's all you see in the news, and not a mention of the eugenics programs, not a mention of the Georgia Guidestones, not a mention of the Skull and Bones fraternities, the endless wars, the Gladio B events. Nothing. Every once in a while you'll get like this news report, citizens are concerned. And then here comes, the deep state psyop shill that's like, no, this stuff is okay. It's wonderful for you. No need to worry. Go back to shopping. I mean, it is just nonstop mass deception on the television, with the politicians, with the corporations and the like. And, when are people going to start focusing on that type of corruption instead of, perhaps the Ukrainians and the like? Of course, there is cause for concern with this administration. We'll get into that a little bit. Where is Epstein? What happened to Epstein? Murdered. And then the story completely buried. Gone. Right? It just took a couple Gladio B events, Iran, Syria, Ukraine, and you're done. You're done. You're not thinking about Epstein anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You're not thinking about Hillary for prison anymore. You're not thinking about Obama is ISIS anymore. You're not thinking about 9/11 was an inside job anymore, because you're so involved with what's going on the television right now, with all of these conspiracy theories, if you will. What is going on planet Earth? It looks like they live on the television. It looks like they're terraforming the planet. It looks like they're trying to exterminate humanity. What is going on? Be sure to check out that video, The Dark Matrix, in our video archives. And check out our website, stfnreport.com, for our latest updates and videos. Where is Epstein? What did this president know, and when did he know it? Those are the troubling questions, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems like they had a very long relationship, 15 years. They hired the Acosta pedophile prosecutor, made him Secretary of the Labor, and the like. Lots of questions about corruption and the like with this administration. Of course, we'll try and get into some of that, some of the extortion. Of course, many believe that there's a lot of pay-to-play, quid pro quo going on with the Ukraine thing. Perhaps implied threats. If you don't cooperate, then this will happen. And of course, many people are wondering about that, given that this was done for private gain. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some more troubling news that we want to cover. It seems like a New Jersey man had threatened to kill farmers who denied him sex with the horses. We're not kidding you. This is a true story, and it's being reported everywhere. And we've got actually a copy of the solicitation, and it says that the guy wants to have a sexual relationship with horses. He's attracted to equine. Seems a little sophisticated there, but He says he's sorry if his request appears insulting, troubling, I think he meant. He is honestly attracted to horses, he says. So what is the profile of this guy? I mean, this could be like your neighbor, pasty white, looks like, he just chills and plays video games all day, right? And this is like the typical devolution of humanity in our country. It's typical of the devolution that we're seeing in this country, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. I know we had another story that we wanted to cover, and we want to get back to this devolution, what is happening to people out there, because it's horrific. It's part of the eugenics program. And I know we've got a few videos that we want to play, but first we got to play this one. No, not that one yet. Hold on, this one.
I can't wait to come back.
See you in Ukraine soon.
Yeah, and Anatevka is the best place in the world.
We love you.
We love you.
Fantastic.
I can't wait to come back.
See you in Ukraine soon.
Yeah, and Anatevka is the best place in the world.
So there's a lot to be said about this particular clip, ladies and gentlemen. And, theoretically, solicitation of a foreign power to interfere with, U.S. presidential elections is a crime. Do we really care anymore? No, we're too busy, involved with, whose guy is going to win, right? And you see all the Trump supporters out there, and you see all of the, Antifa out there, and it's a big clash. And everybody's, worried about being politically correct, about, being a racist or a hater and all of that stuff. And we're really just fighting each other as this system poisons us all. And that is the trouble with what's going on out there. And I think there's a failure to recognize this fact, amongst Trump supporters out there. They are just giving this president a blank check, despite the fact that they're rolling out the 5G. They're still mandating the vaccines. They're still spraying you and your food with pesticides, neurotoxins, and the like. All sorts of junk in the water, the fluoride and the chlorine. The food that we eat is it's not even really made for humans, unless unless you accept the human DNA as some kind of human food. But otherwise, it's basically mystery meat. You know the song, the routine here. But it's rather insulting to think about what we're eating as food, what we're drinking in our water, what we're getting sprayed with, what we're getting dosed with. And people, aren't asking the right questions at all. They're just showing up and they're trying to, laugh along with this comedian. And he's funny. He says, some things that are funny. And you just kind of, you want to laugh and the like. You want to be involved in this type of rhetoric. But it's dangerous because, in the background right now, the dark side is plotting your demise. Not only are they poisoning the food, the air, the water, but they're preparing to roll out the Skynet, the Terminators, and the like. And so people are just, focusing on the wrong issues, and it really seems like these people are out to deceive you. It seems like they're very dishonest people, wouldn't you say, ladies and gentlemen? Any case, I know we got another set of videos that we wanted to show people, and it's really, the transition that we're seeing average citizens take every day. They're getting dumped down. They're using the drugs and the like. This isn't America anymore. The people that we grew up watching on Nick at Night, these people no longer exist. That America no longer exists. Now it's looking like this. Corruption everywhere, junkies everywhere, crime everywhere, eugenics everywhere, stupidity everywhere. And look, you can't talk in terms of absolutes. Not everybody out there is a degenerate. But in the big cities, it's pretty much all there is. Crazy people everywhere. And it's only getting worse. It's like a disease, and it's running rampant, and it's not being identified properly. It's not just, the fact that these people are junkies. They've been conditioned to be, soulless people. Zombies, monsters. That's what this system is conditioning them to be. And while we're focusing on Ukraine and other types of conspiracies, we're really not focusing on, the true enemy of the Republic, which is evil. Biblical evil. This is where all of this comes from. This cult of death, this beast system. It is the antithesis of Christianity. And that's what we're fighting against. And until we contain this outbreak of atheism and secularism and extreme, liberalism, humanity is doomed. Either through eugenics or, Agenda 21 or the assimilation of humanity, the transhumanism. These people mean to exterminate us all. They've already killed America, ladies and gentlemen. The country we grew up in doesn't exist anymore. If you were around in the 1900s, 80s, 90s, you got a taste of America. But for the people that, basically came into the world after 9/11, they never knew the free world. They never knew the America we grew up in. They never knew these people, never wanted to be these people, and instead they've become something else. They've become monsters. They become libtards. They're victims of the system. And, what can you do? It's like an Ebola outbreak. What can you do? And until we start treating it like an outbreak, this is going to continue. More and more people are going to get, the life and soul sucked right out of them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a catastrophe. And this is why it's starting to look like...
About the danger for homeowners, but we haven't talked about the danger for firefighters. If you had come...
And this is why it's starting to look like hell on earth in our country. More and more. Not just, the infernal flames of hell burning in California 24/7, but everywhere you go, it's starting to look more and more like hell on earth. And, our country is being left behind by many metrics. You're seeing more and more people homeless, more and more, junkies out there, more criminals, more crime, more corruption. And we're definitely headed in the wrong direction. And while you can support, this president or some other candidate, they're never, ever going to change the system because they're part of the system. And you can like these people and you can support what they're saying. You can support, what they've done. But you can't ignore what they haven't done. And actions speak louder than words. They didn't lock Hillary up. They didn't, try to do anything about the vaccines or the pesticides or the death towers or the fluoride or, the 9/11 WMDs in Iraq investigations and the like. They didn't try to do any of that. They didn't lock up the coup members. They didn't, they didn't do anything, ladies and gentlemen, except, seem to fan the flames of hatred in this country. They didn't protect free speech. They didn't, push back against the Skynet. In fact, they're endorsing it. And that's the plan, is to have you think about something else as they unleash their final solution, ladies and gentlemen. And so that should be, a lesson to all of us. What we're seeing out there right now should be a lesson to all of us. It's only going to get worse until we really take the steps necessary to make it better. What can we do? You got to fight this fight locally. You got to save your town before you can save your state, before you can save this country. And until you take your town back, you haven't gotten anywhere. Stop the 5G in your town. Demand they remove the fluoride. Stop with the mandated vaccines. And watch, your city thrive. Your schools thrive. Change the education system as much as you can in your towns. No more Sodom and Gomorrah, no more devolution in the schools. That would be an interesting place to start. And some of us, are thinking way too big for our own good out there. And once enough cities, really become free, then maybe we'll be able to save this country. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to leave it there for this broadcast. Never forget, this is about the epic struggle of good versus evil. It's not about politics. It's not about, whose guy is better. These guys aren't on your side. These guys don't care about you. If they did, they wouldn't be blowing trillions of dollars on whatever they're doing out there. Instead, they would be taking care of people, at home. But right now, the food, the air, the water is poisoned. It's impossible to get decent health care out there. And, an education will cost you an arm and a leg, literally. Sign up for an organ donation if you want to get an education in this country. They've left everybody behind. They've betrayed America. They've betrayed humanity. They've, betrayed us all, ladies and gentlemen. People want us, pretend like they're on your side. It's incredible out there. They've killed this country, and people want to pretend like these people are on your side. They've done nothing to bring, the America back that we grew up in. Not one single thing. Instead, they've totally sold out. Yeah, I just can't even believe these videos, How many times have they gone to Ukraine? What's really going on out there? I think we deserve to know.
Take a look at that. Those are embers blowing across the 210 freeway like water, just cruising across the 210 freeway right there. And this is all happening in the Sylmar area, right at the Yarnell. You can just see some of the cars we actually saw.
Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.